Hey guys, here's your final exam. I'm trying to help you out as much as I can with these. Kind of getting them set up. Sorry that the numbers are a little blurry on here, but questions 1 and 2 you can kind of see here. They're just proportions, so you want to make sure we cross multiply both directions and solve for x, or solve for a, b, and number 2. Same way in question 3 and 4. There are proportions, and I've got those set up. All you got to do is cross multiply and solve. If you need help, make sure you ask. Question 5 and 6. 6 is on the next slide, but they want us to determine a scale factor for, let me change my arrows here, for this dilation. So we're going from A to B, so it's enlarging. All you got to do is take a side and say, okay, this is 2 units long, and this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units long. So you just set up a fraction for how much bigger this is over this. Okay, so like I say, just use the sides, or use this side or this side, however you want to work it. I would not use this side, it's a little bit tougher to do. Alright, so that's 5 and flip over. Oops. You can see here again, we're going from A to B. A is the blue large one, here's the red small one. Me personally, I would just use the base sides to come up with the scale factor. Questions 7, 8, and 9, you're just going to use Pythagorean theorem. Okay, I wrote the theorem out there for you on each one. So you just need to make sure the most important side to label is always going to be your C. That's always going to be opposite the hypotenuse, or opposite the right angle. So I would call this side A, this side B. That's C over there. On number 8, the side we're looking for here is C. This would be A and B, or B then A, doesn't really matter. And then also with number 9, here's the right angle, so we go across, there's side C. So there's A, there's B. You're looking for A, which is the X. So just plug all 3 of those into Pythagorean theorem that I've listed for you here and solve for the side that you're looking for. If you need help, make sure you contact your local educator. 10 and 11, these are both the same. You're trying to figure out if they're acute, right, or obtuse. Alright, so again, you're going to plug these numbers, these sides, into the Pythagorean theorem. Here's the theorem. C is always the longest of the sides, which is these 2 here that I'm highlighting for you. So this one I set up for you. You'd say 5 squared plus 15 squared. Okay, work out this side, then work out this side. If both sides are the same, that would be a right. If this side is larger, then that's going to be obtuse. Or acute, I'm sorry, acute. And if this side is larger, then that's going to be obtuse. So that's how you do 10 and 11. Number 12 is the same thing as this 10 and 11. So you plug them in, figure out what's bigger or if they're the same. Looking on to 13, you want to find the value of x. Again, just need to, I set out the proportion for you. All you need to do is cross multiply. Now remember, x times x is going to actually give you x squared. Okay, equals whatever you get when you multiply those 2 together. And then when you want to solve for x, you're going to need to take the square root. Okay, so don't forget about that. That's 13. 14 and 15 I want you to skip. 16 and 17. They're asking for what are the missing sides, x and y, x and y. 16 is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Here's the rules on the sides of a 30, 60, 90. The shortest side on a 30, 60, 90 is always x. The longer side is always x times radical 3, and the hypotenuse is always doubled whatever the short leg is. Okay, so that should help you with 16, 17, same kind of idea, only both sides are the same. They're both x, so they're equal. Then to figure out the hypotenuse, it's just the side times radical 2. And then let's say you had like 7, you just say 7 radical 2. You don't have to make it a decimal. Question 18, I'm letting you skip. Question 19 is we want to solve the right triangle here for the missing sides and angles. So the first one, we're asking for a side, which is AC. And you saw I labeled that C. There's A, there's B. Plug them into Pythagorean theorem and figure out how long that side is. Then, to figure out how many degrees angle A and angle C are, we got to use a little bit of trig. You're going to hit the inverse function of tangent, equals 5 over 11, and the inverse tangent again is equal to 11 over 5. That'll give you what angle A and angle C are. Number 20, again, we're doing pretty much the same thing. Okay, you're going to use Pythagorean theorem here on this first one to get EF, which is here. And then to get angle D, again, I would use, this time, I would use sine of D, actually the inverse sine of D equals, and then that would be opposite over hypotenuse. So whatever you get for this one here, side A over the hypotenuse, which is, I think it's, is that 9.2? Yeah, looks like 9.2. And then same thing here, it's going to be inverse function sine of F to figure out how many degrees F is. We're going to say opposite over hypotenuse, which is like, I think that's 5.6 over 3.2. If you're not sure what a number is, if it's too blurry, just go ask Mr. Houston. We've got a copy there that we can help you with. 21, we're going to solve the right triangle. Okay, so using the exact same technique as we did in number 20. Okay, same idea. Number 23, you're going to set these two sides equal to each other. Okay, I believe that's 2x squared plus 8x minus 17 equal to 8x plus 15. I believe that's what it means. Again, you can always ask us, but we're setting those two sides equal to each other, get all the x's on one side, all the numbers on the other, and figure out what the value of x is in number 23. 24, again, that's a terrible looking picture. Hopefully the one you're looking at on Edge Elastic is better. But remember, if you want to get this angle, you've just got to divide it by 2 if you want to get that angle right there. Okay, 25, you're simply going to take this and double it to get the measure of this arc. So I think it looks like a 62 or an 82. Hopefully yours is better than mine. I didn't realize it was this blurry. But to get DF, all you're going to do is double it, which is multiplied by 2. For 26, we want GHF, so we want this part. Okay, so what you need to do first is figure out this much. Now again, what do we do to this number to get this? And then subtract it from 360 degrees. And that'll give you what is left for G, H, and J. Question 27, in order to figure out angle 2, we're going to add these two together and then divide by 2. Alright, so you measure or add those measurements together, divide by 2. Number 28, we want to figure out what is the arc. So if we add them together to divide by 2 up above, we're going to do the exact same thing here. Okay, just going to add these two and divide by 2. Alright guys, question 29. We're going to multiply these two together and set them equal to these two. So if that's an 8 and an x, I think it is, so you're going to have 8x equals whatever 14 times 6 is. If those numbers are correct. Check your screen or check with one of us to be sure. But set them equal to each other, like you have here, and then solve for x. We are skipping 30, going on to 31. So to figure out the center of this circle, all you got to do is look at these numbers. So this is your x, this is your y, and make them the opposite, okay, in there. For your radius, take the square root of 169. That's your radius. For 32, it says you roll a number cube, find the probability that the number rolled is as described by the B odds in favor of rolling. So a number 4. So what's the odds of rolling a 4? So that's your first blank. And then the odds in favor of rolling a 4. So how many out of how many? So when we're talking about what's the chances A that we roll a 4? Well, think about how many sides. There's a total of 6 sides on a cube. How many of them are a 4? So that's what out of 6. And then for B, for the odds in favor, okay, so you take away the 1 number, so you're going to be left with 5 total chances. But what's the chance of you rolling a 4? Okay, so that's how we're doing all of these next few questions, okay? your A is going to be your total, and then your B is going to be the odds in your favor. So 33, the probability, okay, of rolling a number, rolling an even number. Okay, so that's going to be the first one. What's the chances of rolling an even number? And then what's the chances then of the odds being in your favor? So you got to think the unfavorable. Okay, so for the second one, it's unfavorable over favorable, or favorable over unfavorable. Let's back that truck up. The favorable, the rolling the odd over the unfavorable. So basically, how many evens are there over how many not evens, which would be odds. Okay. 34, we're talking about a number less than 5. So what's the probability that we would roll a number less than 5? How many numbers are less than 5? And put that over 6. Now think about how many numbers are less than 5, the favorable, over how many are not less than 5. Okay, that's 34. We are skipping 35, but 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. All the rest of these, and 41. We're not doing 42, so I'm going to just kind of zoom out here. All of these, this is all calculator work. Okay, I set these two up for you. If you can't remember how to do it on the calculator, come see me or Mr. Houston, and we'll help you out. Okay, here 43 says you choose a tile at random and you replace it, so you're putting it back. And you choose a second tile at random from the bag containing 12 tiles numbered 1 to 12. What's the probability that you choose a number greater than 3 and then an odd number? Okay, so you're going to have two fractions there. Okay, a number greater than 3 times then an odd number. You multiply those two together. Questions 44 and 45. I've written the formula that you need here. So just plug in what they give you, the A plus the B, and then subtract this. That'll give you your A or B. That one's real easy. So plug everything in here, figure it out. Here, they want you to find this one. So like there's your X. So then you're going to plug all these guys in and solve for X. Question 46. To find the probability of A, you just take 1 minus the 2/5. For question 47, you're simply going to go probability of A times probability of B. So you're just going to multiply those two. For 48, I've got it set up here. It's 0.25 equals 0.60 x. So this is 0.6 times x. So just solve for x. That's 48. And the last question, we skipped 49. So you got a school with 1,800 kids. 1,050 females are enrolled in the school that has 1,200 that are involved in after-school activities. Of 725 of those are female. What's the probability that a randomly selected student at the school is a female who is not involved in an after-school activity? Round to the nearest tenth. So I got these steps laid out for you. First, you want to figure out, take the number of females minus the number of females that are in an after-school activity. That'll tell you the ones that are not. Then you put that over the total number of students and divide. That'll tell you what they want here. Congratulations, you have finished your exam. Have a good one.